What's going on YouTube? Thank you for tuning in. This is Jet Gaming here, back with another Wi-Fi battle for you guys today. Today it's another Gen 4 OU Wi-Fi battle against Palkia Master. I'll leave his channel down in the description as well as some Discord servers so you guys can find some Gen 4 and Gen 5 Wi-Fi battles, as well as a YouTube video on how to reconnect to the internet on Gen 4 and Gen 5 in any DS console. So yeah guys, let's just get right into the battle. Alright, so I'm going to lead off with my Gengar here as he leads off with his Fortress. And I go right for the taunt because I don't want him to set up any rocks or spikes. And yeah, so I'm going to switch out into my Infernape here. I know I could U-turn on anything that comes out unless it's Scarfed. So he's going to go right into Milotic here as I go for a Banded U-turn. And it does a decent amount of damage. And I'm going to switch out into my Starmie here, predicting him to go for a Surf, but he catches me off guard and goes for a Toxic instead. The good thing is that I have Natural Cure, so I'm able to just switch out and the poison will be gone. So I'm going to take some poison damage and he's going to get Leftovers Recovery. I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt here as he switches in his Fortress. And at this point I know he's going to get up his Stealth Rocks. So I figured, you know what, let's go out into Infernape here, excuse me, and hopefully I can scare him out at least, or hit something really hard with the Flare Blitz, because Abandoned Flare Blitz does hurt. So he does just that and switches out into his Gliscor, and I go for a Flare Blitz here, and it does a lot of damage. I was actually only hoping to be doing about, well, I wasn't hoping to do half, but I was expecting to do half. And yeah, so I get recoil damage, and he's going to actually be burnt from the Flare Blitz. Excuse me. And he is going to take some burn damage here, and I'm going to switch out into my Starmie here, because now I think I have the opportunity to kind of spin these rocks away. But once again, he goes for Toxic. I was expecting him to go for an Earthquake there, to be honest, but I guess he chose to go for Toxic instead, but it's alright. Now he's going to take some burn damage and get some Leftovers Recovery. Now I'm going to go for a Rapid Spin here as he switches out into Milotic here. And now I don't have these pesky rocks in my way. And of course I'm going to be taking some more residual damage from the poison. So at this point I figured it'd be a good time to reveal my Metagross. So I go out into my Metagross here as he switches out into Gliscor, which really was a good play on his part, because even though he is burnt, taking too many Earthquakes isn't very necessary. So I'm going to switch out and go into my Zapdos here, predicting that Earthquake, and he goes for the Earthquake and obviously doesn't do anything because Zapdos is half flying. And now he's going to take some more damage. I'm going to go right for the HP Ice, but he actually outspeeds me here because I am a bulky Zapdos, not a speedy one. And I'm going to go right for the HP Ice to knock out this Gliscor. So now my Zapdos is going to be taking quite a bit of damage from the poison each turn. And it's going to kind of hamper things. So now he's going to go out into Zapdos here. And I switch out into my Metagross here, predicting that Ice Punch. And he goes right for the Ice Punch as I predicted. And it does a little bit of damage. And I know he's going to switch out, so I decided to go for my Stealth Rocks here as he goes into his Milotic. And now he's going to get some more Leftovers Recovery. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to bring in my Zapdos now because this Milotic isn't going to do anything to me. Even if it does carry Ice Beam, I can always just go back into Metagross and play mind games with him. But now he goes for the Surf, and it does a respectable amount of damage. And I'm going to get Leftovers Recovery and lose some HP from the poison as he gets some Leftovers Recovery. And now he reveals his Protect here as I go for the Thunderbolt. At this point, I figured his last move either has to be Recover or Ice Beam. Most likely Recover. Or even Rest. I've seen Rest Milotic, but I decided to switch out into Tyranitar here to get the Sandstorm up so I can start chipping away at this Milotic a little bit more. But instead he goes for Surf here, and I was hoping that this Surf wouldn't like knock me out almost, but gets a crit, and yeah, critical hit, almost kills Tyranitar, and he's at full HP. It's not looking good on my end, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go for Crunch here, and I go for Crunch, and it does almost half, and I do get the defense drop. I was expecting him to just go for Surf to kill me off, but he doesn't, and instead goes for Toxic again. So I'm going to take the Toxic Poison damage, and I'll be at 32 HP. And since he doesn't have rocks up, I can just use this as death fodder if I want to, but I decided to go out into Zapdos here as he switches out and goes into Fortress, which is kind of what I was hoping for, because now I could go for Heat Wave to knock out this Fortress, because it is annoying, and I do want my rocks to stay. So after taking Sandstorm, Poison, and whatnot, I go for the Heat Wave. And this Fortress is now gone. I don't have to deal with this Fortress for the rest of the match. So down goes Fortress, and of course, you know, I'm going to take some Sandstorm damage, and this Zapdos is going to take a little bit more damage from the Poison. Now he goes into Weavile here, and I was actually kind of expecting that. So I decided to go for Roost here because I'm sure he was either going to overprotect me going into Metagross, or I could live an Ice Punch. Probably couldn't, but it's a pretty ballsy play on my end, and goes for Night Slash, and I live, and I go for Roost. So now my Zapdos is at a respectable amount of HP. And he's going to be taking a lot of damage from the Sandstorm and the Life Orb. So this Weavile is going to be down pretty soon. So yeah, I'm going to switch out into my Metagross again, expecting him to go for Ice Punch, but you know, he goes for Night Slash. And it does a lot of damage there. And I guess he decides to switch out because he knows I probably have Bullet Punch, but I don't. I actually go for the Earthquake here as he switches out into Milotic. So this Earthquake is actually a 2-hit knockout on the Milotic. So if I go for a second one, I can knock it out. And he's going to take some more Sandstorm damage and get his leftovers recovery back. But he has two options there. He could have went for Recover or Rest if he had it, or he could Protect, but it didn't really matter. I was just going to go for another Earthquake, and then I could just do something, but it's whatever. Go for Earthquake, knock it out. And now he doesn't have a Milotic, and my Metagross is about to take out this Weavile here, because this Weavile is going to take some Rocks damage, and it's only got one Life Orb hit left for it. So now he goes for Night Slash, and this Metagross is down, but so is his Weavile. So now he's got two Pokemon left. And I figured I'm going to go out into Infernape here and go for a U-turn, a banded U-turn on something. But instead he goes out into Starmie. In my opinion, I probably should have went out into Tyranitar, but I didn't. But it's whatever. He goes for Surf, and my Infernape gets knocked out. Here, I should have probably went out to Tyranitar in the first place, but I didn't. But can't be mad. I actually have a free switch in here to my Gengar, because I know my Gengar can go for a Shadow Ball to knock out the Starmie. So now he's going to go for Surf here, and I'm going to live it thanks to the Focus Sash, which is a pretty good item on Gengar. You could probably run a Black Sludge set, but Focus Sash is a lot better if it's a lead, and you can always do this. You know, you can always bring it in and then knock something out, even with the weather out, but make sure you don't have hazards or has taken damage prior, obviously. But anyways, went for the Shadow Ball. Starmie's gone, my Gengar's gone, and now he has one more Pokemon left. His last Pokemon happens to be Vaporeon, and this I was kind of scared about. So I end up going out into my Zapdos here, and I go right for the Protect here. Or no, he goes for the Protect, my bad. And I go for Thunderbolt here, and I'm going to take a lot of damage from the Poison and the Sandstorm. And obviously my Thunderbolt didn't do anything because of the Protect. So now I'm going to go for Thunderbolt again. And I know I'm not going to knock out this Vaporeon. I'm in a kind of a tough situation now because this Vaporeon could possibly stall me out. But judging from that damage, he's a more physically bulky Vaporeon. Then he's going to go for the Surf and kind of knock it out. Not kind of, he actually did knock me out. And he's going to take some Sandstorm damage, but then he's going to get Leftovers recovery back. And at that range he's at, my Starmie can go for a Thunderbolt to knock it out, and that's exactly what I do. So thanks a lot to Palkia Master for the battle. It was very close, and I want to do more of these 4th gen Wi-Fi battles, so hit me up on Discord. And yeah, guys, have a good day.